Hey everyone, and welcome to our Q&A presented by Just Love. My name is Paula Jane and I'm talking to Judy Carroll. Judy is an internationally known author. Her books include The Zeta Message, Human by Day, Zeta by Night, Extraterrestrial Presence on Earth, Lessons in History, and her two most recent books, both Kindle editions, An Interview with an Alien, Comments by an Undercover ET, and Cosmic Spirituality, Blending Religion and Science in Oneness from an Off-Planet Perspective. Hi Judy.
Hi Paula, hi everyone.
Today we're going to talk about the in-between. We spoke about this last time while discussing Judy's book, Cosmic Spirituality, Blending Religion and Science in Oneness from an Off-Planet Perspective. And we feel with what's going on down here on the planet, we would like to expand upon it a little bit more, just to help us understand the bigger picture, the divine design. So Judy, do you want to just recap a little on what the in-between is? Sometimes it's referred to as subspace.
Yes, Paula, what we're talking about here is where our consciousness can potentially focus between lives. I know words get in the way big time when we start talking about such things, but as far as I can tell, this seems to be the level of consciousness that Dr. Courtney Brown refers to in his book Cosmic Voyage as subspace. In this book, he talks about how the subspace dwellers can potentially have a lot of influence on the physical dimension. It's a sort of halfway house between physicality and melding back completely into source. Maybe it's what is also referred to as the astral plane, which can certainly be used as a meeting ground between us down here and higher teachers such as ETs and spirit guides.
So there is divine design at play here. And some teachers say that the people who are leaving the planet now are fulfilling their purpose. Well, we all are really, aren't we? So these ones knew exactly what they were signing up for when they agreed to come here. Obviously, they didn't remember. And those who are leaving are of all ages. So this is very hard for so many people. But at the end of the day, we all agreed to be here at this time to play the part that we're playing. And as you continually tell us, Judy, we are in Earth School, and many levels of that schooling are being played out. It has been said that some of the people who are leaving agreed to hold space for us in the subspace. They agreed to help us and Mother Earth to ascend. So they may have seemed to be asleep while they were here on Earth, but they really are incredible Earth angels who signed up to do an extremely important job in the subspace. Can you talk to us on this, please, Judy?
Yeah, over quite a number of decades now, there's been an influx of higher off-planet people volunteering to be born on Earth. Dolores Cannon referred to them in her books as the first, second, third, etc. wave of volunteers. They've come here to prepare humanity for the planetary shift that's happening right now. This shift has been predicted for decades, and we're in it right here, right now. It's no longer some vague future possibility. One night back in October of 2019, we experienced a huge number of people from Earth transitioning and being brought up onto one of the big ships. It resembled a rather chaotic airport terminal, as all these folks needed to be processed and guided through the appropriate portal to where they needed to be. At the time, we had no conscious idea down here of what this was about, but the answer was revealed in early 2020 when the pandemic struck. Some of the people who are transitioning now are fulfilling their soul plan of taking up residence in the astral subspace in order to help more effectively with the planetary shift. They may not have been able to do much while they were down here in physical form, but now they'll be able to provide more assistance for us. This is something that our own little group who work together are aware of when we're away from our Earth human forms at night, of having discussions with certain ones down here, trying to influence them to make better choices for the planet and humanity. But of course their own free will still prevail.
Yeah, we really have no idea. We just have to put our trust in divine design and allow it all to play out, which it will, and it will be perfect.
This is so true. There's a much bigger picture, a higher scenario playing out. We cannot perceive it through our limited 10% Earth human consciousness, but it is happening, just as it's meant to. It's also good to be aware that two controller groups are at play down here through two political extremes, both doing their best to pull humanity into their power games. using a very effective weapon of fear and divide and conquer. Hence a lot of lies being told from both sides. Fear is the way humanity is and has been controlled for many millennia. We just need to do our very best to rise above it, and it's certainly being tested in non-attachment in a very big way and forced to really simplify our lives. I do understand the need that many people have to fill every waking moment with all the many distractions that are force-fed to us on a daily basis. But that's exactly what they are, distractions to keep us controlled and dumbed down. Why not do something healthy instead? Go for a walk, take the kids to a park to play, do some gardening, yoga or Tai Chi.
Yeah. So many things are coming to light. So much is starting to make more sense. It's hard to take on board that all of the lockdowns, for example, may somehow have a positive effect, but there's definitely as much light as what there is dark playing out right now.
Yes, definitely. The bigger picture is that the lockdowns are contributing to the healing of the planet. With more and more people working from home, there are less cars on the road, and cars are a major contributors of pollution. They're actually very dirty, very primitive means of transport by universal standards.
Sorry we don't have a spaceship down here.
I remember one of the Greys saying that once. Those dirty, filthy things. Also, a lot of office environments are quite toxic. Many people feel safer and more relaxed working from home.
Yeah.
The lockdowns are also providing people with more time for inner reflection rather than continually being distracted by outer entertainments. This deeper inner reflection is most necessary to enable us to evolve spiritually. This is what is meant by the biblical adage of man, know thyself. This is where true inner peace and understanding lies. So yes, a lot can be achieved from being in an enforced lockdown.
Yeah. The controllers, the cabal, the Illuminati are losing, and they are very much aware of this, and that's why they're scrambling and doing everything in their power to have it play out according to their plan. And as more and more things come to light about this battle, this conflict between the light and the dark, which really has been playing out since the beginning of time, it is said that technology plays a very big part for them. They heavily rely on technology because they really can't compete with us. We hold way more light than they do. Can you comment on this?
Yes, Paula, technology is their only strength. They actually carry a lot of fear of allowing us to access our true empowerment because they don't have it. This is why they rely on force to bully and control us, especially through fear, in order to disempower us down to their level. This is the whole object of present events in the world, fear. It's their main weapon to use against us, and it's so effective if you allow it to be. As for their use of technology, yes, since the mid-1950s, the cabal has had technology that enables them to get inside the heads of any open psychics, to send fake messages from ones who claim to be Archangel Michael, Ascended Masters, Pleiadians, Space Brothers, etc. Psychics pick up on these messages and put them out in good faith, but they're not genuine. The messages are either fear-oriented, warning of evil aliens that are going to invade Earth, or they may involve a prediction such as a mass sighting or landing of ships. In this way, people get their hopes up, which are then dashed when nothing happens, which really messes with their energy. As well as this, it gives the skeptics a field day and provides them with ammunition to use against anything beyond 3D.
Well, speaking of predictions, there's been a lot of talk still about a solar flash, power outages and internet crashes, 10 days of darkness and all the rest of it. And we view this as something negative, but perhaps it is a good thing because if our power is out, if our technology is down, maybe theirs is as well.
Again, I feel more fear-mongering at play here. If it happens, it happens. Maybe we're getting a bit too reliant on technology. Apparently there was a major technology crash about a week or so ago. I didn't even realise it until I heard it on the news that evening. I spend as little time stuck in front of a screen as I possibly can, especially when it comes to social media. If Facebook closed down completely, it really wouldn't affect me much at all, and I'm not on any other platforms. There was nothing like this up until around the 1980s, and we all managed perfectly well then. In fact, life was generally a lot healthier.
Yes, true. Absolutely true. And I think it's important to highlight the positive like you just have. In doing so, we're certainly not negating or not acknowledging the negative, but rather we're highlighting the positive as a way for us to move forward with hope and certainty that all will be well, mindfully creating our reality, in other words. And the positive side is that all of these lockdowns and anything else that may or may not happen is giving us space that we never expected to have in this 21st century. We've been given the gift of space to have a look at what systems, structures, and organisations are really up to. Space to look at everything in our life right down to the tiniest detail. Space for us to see what these systems, structures and organisations are really all about. This then enables us to question, perhaps for the very first time, if they are actually serving us and if they are really for our highest good. And most importantly, we've been given space in order to enable us to see both ourselves and the world that we live in differently, in a different light.
Yes, for sure. Be alert but not alarmed, as they say, and be aware of what you're creating for yourself through how you focus your thought patterns. The human mind is a lot more powerful than most of us are consciously aware. This is why it's so vitally important to not be manipulated by fear.
Yeah, Judy, you, like all of us, have to piece together all of the little bits of information that are being provided for you, both through your work down here, but especially through the work that you do as a lorca up on the ship. With everything that's playing out now and all of your experiences leading up to your now moment, is there anything that you want to update us on? Has anything come together for you that will help us to understand that what's playing out really is for our own benefit and for our highest good?
Yes, Paula, I'd like to talk about this, particularly in light of the huge chaos that manifested in America surrounding the last election. I hate bringing politics into it, as we try to stand back as much as we can, but so much information and disinformation has been put out on this. Just the other day, I was listening to a really enlightening podcast by Elizabeth April entitled Something Big is Happening. I'll put the link in below. Elizabeth is very proud of her Grey connection, and her information closely parallels my stuff, right down to the group she calls the Reps and I call the Repterans. Right towards the end of her talk, she brought up the subject of ex-President Trump and explained a little of what was going on with him. Again, like her information on the Repterans, it totally validates what I know from certain experience we had up on the ship dealing with him. Many followers of President Trump have claimed that he's a very highly evolved soul. In a way, this is correct because all of us have this highly evolved aspect to our soul. He was certainly manipulated into office by the higher forces, as his job was, as Elizabeth says, to break down the control of the mass media, particularly in connection with what's going on right now. I do recall breathing a sigh of relief when he was installed as president, because if the opposition had won, the same old would have continued. He did a great job stirring the pot, which was sorely needed. However, as with everything that happens, multi-layers are involved. As our Grow teachers always say, look for 3 levels of reality in any event. So on one level, yes, he was carrying out a higher task to help humanity. On another level, he was put here as a tester of souls is the term used by the Greys. His job was to demonstrate all the lower and more negative energies that humankind is capable of expressing: ego, pride, racism, bullying behaviour, etc., etc. This was done as a test for humanity to see who would resonate with these energies or not. This is why people are so polarised over him. They either love or loathe him. He energises and excites some and turns others completely off. The 3rd level was, as Elizabeth April says, because of his buffoonery, he could have potentially been used as a tool by the higher forces to bring about much-needed changes. He's the sort of person who would blunder in where angels fear to tread. A great deal of energy was expended up on the ship to try to guide him down certain paths to initiate necessary changes down here, but getting through to him was the problem. As for the outcome, in the higher reality there are no accidents. Planet Earth and humanity have a certain path to follow, and control down here goes way beyond any elected world leader. There are other forces at play, so all the political squabbling and what-ifs really are a waste of energy. Humanity needs to be woken up to the fact that the Planetary Controllers are behind whichever leader you vote in, particularly the more polarised ones, and their weapon is fear. Deeper spiritual understanding which enables and awakens our own self-empowerment is the only solution.
Amen. Which is, as we've said in our last episode, just more proof of how the reptarians are still controlling humanity to this day. And the more of us who can wake up to this, the easier the planetary shift will be. So if you'd like to read more about this, I'd just like to remind you all that Judy's books are available from Amazon, or you can go directly through Judy's website, which is included in the link below. And Judy will also include Elizabeth April's link as well, the one that she was talking about. And if you like this video, please share it with your friends and your family and subscribe to this channel. Until next time, sending you all so much love and thank you all for listening. Bye for now.